Hello, good evening, and welcome to the KDE Leadership's signature course, BPAVE, Business Plan Academy for Veterans and Entrepreneurs. And we're looking at the process, the financial plan, and business plan documentation. This is week 4 of our two-stage Facebook Live Q&A session. And I just wanted to take us back a couple of weeks to remind us what this course is about for those who are just joining us for the first time or just coming onto the Facebook Live experience for the first time. We did promise at the beginning of this course that we'll be taking you from that feeling of being overwhelmed with preparing the registration paperwork for your new company, okay, or revamping an old one and making sure that everything is done properly, to how you feel, the inadequacy you feel in preparing a detailed financial plan or a business plan document for your organization. We're taking you from that level to feeling confident that you can start and operate your business on a solid foundation. You're going to complete this course, as we promised, armed with a well set up corporate entity, that's your company, fully prepared business and financial plans that will help you run your organization smoothly. We also have funding partners waiting to join us in week 6 and week 7 in case you need to talk with investors to pump some money into your business. So this is really what we're looking at. And so without much ado, I'm going to share my screen with you today on what we're working on in week 4, okay? I'm just going to share that with you for week 4, and then we can really hit the ground running, okay? All right. So let me just get there very quickly. So, all right. So this is what you're going to be seeing on your screen right now. We are in module 4, and we're looking at TIN numbers and corporate bank accounts. When I say TIN numbers, that is tax identification number. And as I said to us last week, this is your identifier in your country or state of origin. That's the number that the authorities have that represents your company, okay? Now you also need your TIN number to identify you in the Corporate Affairs Commission or in the Secretary of State. And you also need that TIN number to open a bank account. Without that TIN number, you cannot open a bank account. So let's go into what it takes to set up your TIN number, okay? So I'm going to be sharing another screen with you. With that, I'm really going to be moving very fast right now. I want to share with you what you need for, let me just share that very, very quickly with you. Okay. All right. So for those of you who are watching now, this is the guideline you're supposed to have downloaded from your week 4 module 4 platform, okay? This is a guideline that guides you on how to go about obtaining your TIN number. So having said that, over the last 3 weeks, we looked at your successful acquisition and incorporation of your business, the business name and the URL, okay? So however, you need your TIN number from your Internal Revenue Service to identify your company, okay? So your TIN number can also be called your employer identification number, all right? And to be able to do that, you can just go to this website over here that I'm showing you in blue for those of you who are looking at it, or you can just go to Google and type in, how do I obtain a TIN number or an EIN number? Once you type that in, it will show you exactly the link you can go to. And in this age of online transactions, this will probably take you about 10 minutes or 20 minutes to get done, okay? The system will automatically assign your business a TIN number. Remember, you have registered your business, you've incorporated it, it's in the system, in the database in your country or in your state of origin. So all they have to do is just match it electronically and they assign you a number. That's the number that identifies you everywhere in the world as a corporate business entity. Now, once this process is completed, you can now begin the brief process of opening your corporate bank account. All right. So as I said, this is a link that you need to go to if you're in the United States. In any other country, just type in obtaining a tax identifier number or obtaining an employee identification number, and it will lead you to the agency that will get this registration done, and it's done online. In the United States and in North America, it doesn't cost you a dime, all right? So you need to remember that and understand that it doesn't cost you a dime, and it is critical for this next phase. Now, the next phase, as I say, will be putting together your corporate bank account, okay? And as I said, this is the guideline you need to open your corporate bank account. As soon as you have your TIN number, you go to your bank to set up that corporate account. They're going to ask you for a TIN number. These are the things they will require of you: your company registration and incorporation documents. If you do recall, let me just annotate this a little bit so that we can, if you do recall, let me put a spotlight there. If you do recall, over the last 3 weeks, you have done your company registration and incorporation documents, right? You've done that. You have your personal tax returns from the previous year. If you're a new business owner, you don't have tax returns for this year for now. And because you're a new business owner, they'll see from the registration date on your company that you're less than a year old, and so you do not qualify. You do not qualify to have a tax return, okay, for the previous year because you were not existing the year before. Excuse me. So now the third thing you need is your taxpayer identification number, as I said, or your EIN, employee identification number. Once you have those, you go to your bank, you get your personal identification documents. That could be your driver's license or your international passport or international ID card, whatever it is that obtains in your country or state of domicile. That's fine. Most times banks want 2 forms of identification. So you want to have your driver's license and then you have a passport or an ID card. Once you have that, you can open as many accounts as you want to because you have that corporate name. Now, I will recommend in the beginning to open a minimum of 3 accounts. The first one will be a revenue account. That's a checking account or a current account, as is termed in some countries. A revenue or current account, that's for incoming checks only. That's for all the earnings that you make, all the earnings that you have. Excuse me, I need to move something out of the way here. So, okay, that's for all the earnings that come into your company. Every check that your clients or customers pay you go into that revenue account. Now, when it hits that revenue account, you want to open a second account called an operations account. That also should be a checking account or a current account, okay? As the case may be, whatever the terminology is the same thing. An operations account should be a checking account or a current account. Now, what usually happens is, for financial probity, you want to give an instruction to your bank that once any checks come in to your revenue account, you move a designated percentage of that into this operations account. That's why you want an operations account. That's where the running of the company, the money for the running of the company is resident in your operations account. For the sake of argument, I normally use 70% of whatever checks that come in are automatically debited into or credited into this operations account, which is also a current account or a checking account. This is where expenses go into: salaries, sundries, purchases, everything that you need to run your account comes from your operations account, about 70%. For some people, it could be 80%. For some people, it could be 60%. You decide from experience just how much of the checks that come in you need for the day-to-day, month-to-month running of your firm. Now, once you've done that, you need to open a third account. That is your savings account. And that savings account can also be maybe 10% of the revenue. So 10% of the revenue account is automatically sent to your savings account. Why is that so? You want to have savings This is the one that earns you interest, okay? Remember, your checking accounts most times do not earn you any interest. So you want to earn some interest on money that is already deposited in your account you're not using for now. To start with, it would be good to use 10% until you see the lay of the land and see whether 10% is too much or too small to put aside. This savings account is for your growth and for strategic purposes. Now, as you can see so far, we've expended 80%. Now, if you want to have, if you are a service provider, then you're going to have vendors and subcontractors who work for you. That's where the fourth account comes in, which I didn't mention here. That fourth account is also a corporate, is also a checking account, and that should account for 20% of everything that comes into your revenue account. That is what you put aside to pay your vendors. Okay. Now, if your vendors, if you're in a professional, work setting where your vendors are 30 days max, 30 days X, or 60 days X, or 90 days X, it means that that money you put aside is going to remain in that account for more than 30 days. It might be wise to fix the money as a fixed deposit, so you can earn a little interest on that as well, okay? So what we have here, we have 4 accounts. The revenue account is just for incoming only. That's the account number that your clients have. That's what they pay you on, okay? So that is, you don't use that account for anything at all. As soon as it comes in, 70% goes into your, straight away into your operations account, 10% goes into your savings account, and the last 20% goes into your operation, into your, into your vendor account, okay, subcontractor account. So suddenly you find that that revenue account is just a holding pen, okay? It's a funnel. Money just comes in there and immediately goes 3 ways. So it's almost always empty, okay? That's the way to have financial probity. When you understand that these funds here are for my subcontractors, I can't touch it. This is for my savings. This is for end of year bonuses and rewards that you want to give people. And the money you're going to plow back, that's more like your profit at the end of the day. That's where your profit comes from. After salaries are paid, that's your savings account. So having said that, you now know that starting from day one, you want to open at least 3 accounts, okay? Optimally 4, as soon as you grow and you have subcontractors working for you. So my recommendation would be to only use the operations account for all payments, salaries, overheads, etc. Okay? And that is very, very critical. You might decide to add a credit card account, but please be sure the credit card system is very dangerous, because we're apt to run up bills, especially when we're lagging behind in receipts, account receivables. People owing us money are not paying as quickly as we expect them to, and so we have a backlog and we have to pay with credit cards. Just ensure that you pay off your credit card every month to avoid fees. Be sure that fees may be involved with also maintaining these accounts. Okay, so this week, all we're going to be looking at is you getting online and getting your tax TIN number, tax identification number, or EIN number. After you get that, you go get your accounts set up in your bank. Once you do that, it will take a couple of days for them to send you checkbooks and what have you. But the main thing is you're good to go. You're good to receive and to pay. All right. Remember, next week we're going to be looking at, guess what? How to set up your websites. And that's when you're going to have to talk about e-commerce websites, because you're going to embed your payment system into your websites to ensure that people who do business with you can pay you off of your website. We'll get to that next week, okay? Now, something else I want to share with us before we go is exactly where we are at this time. Right now, this is where we are, okay? We're in week 4, module 4, TIN and corporate bank accounts. Next week, when we meet next week, you have gotten all this done. Business registrations, URLs and official email addresses, TIN number and corporate bank accounts, and then we'll get to the really fun part by next week, okay? Websites, services, and e-commerce. Now, having said that, I want to say, if there are no questions right now, I want to say, let's get on this week, get our work done, all right? Get out this week, get those TIN numbers done, get your corporate accounts in place, because we're going to be rocking and rolling from next week. All right. Having said that, now I want to say thank you for joining me on this brief. I can see there are no questions out there. Everybody, a lot of you already have your companies set up, corporate bank accounts in place, and I know you're just waiting for week 5 and week 6 and week 7, where we really have the websites, the financial plan, and of course the business plan document to work on. Again, I'm sharing this for you to see exactly where we are. We're just on module 4, but we're moving up, ramping up to the next 4 or 5 modules, which is what a lot of people have been waiting on. Okay, so once again, I want to thank you for joining me today. I will see you on Thursday. If you have any questions, feel free to jump on. If you need some responses from us as quickly as possible, go ahead and send an email to support@kdeleadership.com, and one of the team members will get back to you as soon as possible. I want to say thank you for joining us again, and I'll see you on Thursday. Have a good one, guys.